Welcome to Coffee and Conversations for Men, a podcast where two men, Jay Guy,
Brian Jones,
sit down to share their stories of struggles, successes, and everything in between as they navigate the ups and downs of life.
Each episode will dive into topics men are curious about as it relates to their fitness, nutrition, relationships, mental health, and lifelong learning. If you're looking for real talk, honest discussions, and practical advice, you're in the right place.
So grab your coffee, sit back, and join us for some candid conversations that will inspire, motivate, and remind you that you are not alone on this journey. So let's get started.
Before we dive in, we just want to make something clear.
We are not psychotherapists, social workers, or licensed counselors. We are simply two lifelong friends, Jay and Brian, who are here to share our personal stories and the lessons that we've learned along the way.
While we offer advice based on our experiences, it's important to remember that we are not professionals in those fields. If you're dealing with specific health, mental health, or relationship issues, we always recommend reaching out to a qualified professional who can guide you in the right direction.
With that said, we hope our conversations help spark some positive changes, inspire reflection, and encourage you on your journey.
Hey Jay, before we start here, what's your coffee today?
So what I'm drinking today is a coffee called Black Rifle Coffee, and it is their Just Black coffee. It's a coffee pod. They are a company. I actually found them in Tennessee when I was there.
Oh, really?
In Pigeon Forge. They had a little shop there called Black Rifle Coffee. It's fantastic coffee. If you ever get a chance to try it, it's called Black Rifle Coffee, and they have all kinds of different flavors.
Really?
Yeah, this one's a bold one. I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What's in your cup?
Mine is a coffee bean that we grind in the morning, and it's it's from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
This coffee bean, and it's I think it's San Sebastian, and it's and I just did 2 espresso shots.
Woo!
in the coffee cup, and then I added a half a cup of foamed oat milk. So it's kind of like a latte.
Ooh.
That's there. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty
It
good.
sounds really good.
Yeah, it is good.
Nice. Well, enjoy.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Okay, here we are, Jay, for our first episode.
Episode 1.
And we've called it "It's More Than Muscles," and it's creating a balance between your physical fitness, your nutrition, your relationships, your mental health, your lifelong learning, and I know that every month when we get together, we're going to come up with a big umbrella topic, and this episode has to be about balance.
Correct.
And we'll go from there.
I feel like it's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into physical fitness. How does physical fitness relate to creating a balance in your life?
Well, once upon a time, I didn't have that.
Okay.
I didn't have balance in that. And I used the gym at once upon a time in a very unhealthy way for myself. I would hide in the gym. All of the unresolved issues and all of the trauma that I've never dealt with and all of the insecurities and all that quote unquote stuff that I didn't deal with, I hid in the gym and I took it out in the gym. So in a very unhealthy way. So there are people who use self-harm as far as cutting, as far as drinking, as far as drugs, and all sorts of other things. And I use the gym in an unhealthy self-harm way for me. So until I was exhausted, until I was laying on the floor, you throw up, blah, 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 blah.
Well, how long would you be in the gym for?
Oh, I would be in the gym for an hour.
And like every day?
Every day. And it affected me negatively when I didn't make it to the gym. And so it would wreck my whole day, and my mood would change, and I would be cranky and dismissive and grumpy, and my family would feel that effect as well if I didn't make it to the day. And it really made me sour if I didn't hit the gym. And that's not okay. That's not a good way to be. And it was so hard on my mental capacity to be able to figure out how come? How come I'm affected so negatively just because I missed the gym? Well, it's because I was using the gym so negatively in my life to hide behind other things that
Right.
that's how it came out.
So what was the turning point that made you realize, holy crap, I need to change this?
Therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, therapy, and it was wrecking my relationships with my wife, with my children, with my coworkers, with my
Okay.
friends. I just started turning inwards and pushing everybody away.
Okay. So did you go cold turkey, or how? Okay, you realize it's messing your life up,
Yes,
but you've been addicted to it.
yes.
So what happened in between?
So there was a point once the therapy started, once I started, clearing up some of these issues. There was a point where I couldn't get into the gym, and that in itself took some work to be able to. There was a point I couldn't actually get into the gym, um, because I saw it in a negative way after I
Right.
started to heal and started to
Yeah.
change some things in my mindset. And there was a point where I went months without actually entering into the gym because I just couldn't, because it was viewed as a negative thing
Wow.
until I cleared that up.
Yeah.
And there was at one point I went into the gym and just sat on the floor and just started bawling. I just cried. And I understand it's all therapeutic. I understand it was all part of the process,
Hmm.
but getting to that point was it took a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm able to use it health in a healthy manner. I'm
Okay.
able to go into the gym, work out,
Okay.
and if I miss a workout, if life quote unquote gets in the way,
Right.
I'm not affected negatively by it like I was
Okay.
before.
Good for you
Thank you.
for realizing that.
Thank you.
Now, my story is a little bit different
Hmm.
with balance. I mean, I was where I am right now. I was 50 pounds heavier,
Hmm.
and over the years, it just a pound and a pound and a pound. It kept coming
Slowly
on.
creeping in.
Absolutely, until I went to the doctor,
Hmm.
and the doctor said, "Brian, we're doubling your medication, your blood pressure medication." And I said, "Oh, okay." And he says, "You know what? You come back in a year, and we'll decide if we add more medication
Oh.
or we take you off them. And in the
Mhm.
meantime, I think you need to update your will, and you need to check out your insurance policy."
What a reality check.
So that was the kick in the ass,
Oof.
the slap in the face I needed to make the changes. So I started to make the changes,
Hmm.
and but I went gung ho. I took swimming lessons and became a swimmer. Scared to death of water. Now that's another whole episode when it comes to discipline.
Right.
And I ran my first half marathon. I got a bike and started doing 20 kilometers and hitting cardio workouts of HIIT and gung ho. And I lost the weight.
Hmm.
However, I was losing muscle, and I was pale, and I was drawn in, and I had lost the weight. And lots of people were asking behind my back, is Brian okay?
Right.
Is there some health going on here, issues going on? Um, so I was way out of balance.
Hmm.
I needed to realize that I need some physical fitness when it comes to muscle growth,
Hmm.
but also look at fat body percentage
Right.
and trying to find that balance.
Yeah. So there was such a
So
loss.
it was huge. It was
Yeah.
huge. Now, granted, I got off the medication, which was fabulous, and I got a whole
Right.
new wardrobe, which was fabulous.
Right.
Um, but I needed to figure out that balance,
Right.
and it was not easy at all.
And how did you manage to come to that conclusion? Was it just because people were asking you if you're okay?
I didn't look well.
Okay.
I did not look well, and I was drawn. I was pale, um, and I didn't have biceps or triceps, or they're just I had lost the weight, and it just didn't look like I wanted it to look.
Right.
So I needed to find that balance, and I found that a perfect quote: "The body achieves what the mind believes."
Mm.
And
Powerful.
it is, it
Mm.
is. And you had a quote that you came up with, you shared with me earlier, that fit your description perfectly.
It did. It is, if you numb the bad, you also numb the good.
Yeah, and you were doing it.
And I was doing that. Yeah, I was doing that in every sense of the word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I found a really interesting article that supports what you and I are going through or went through, and it's in the 2023 Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, and it talks about how fitness boosts cognitive function, memory, and problem solving, which creates a balance in your personal and professional life. And I would predict that as soon as you found that balance, things improved with your family.
Yeah.
Things improved at work.
Yeah.
Things improved with your overall being.
Yeah, absolutely. That's spot on.
So for our listeners, any advice that you would give them, like a first step or something to be aware of?
Yeah, if your fitness routine or your view on fitness is affecting your life in any negative way, you should listen to that.
Okay.
You should put that in check.
Yeah.
Because those around you will notice it long before you do.
Right.
And they will probably be dropping hints to you and asking you what the mood shifts are, and they will be dropping you clear hints that you are not picking up on.
Right.
So just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found I had to create some SMART goals.
Okay.
For fitness.
Mhm.
And that's SMART. If you break down, the SMART, being really specific,
Mhm.
making sure your goals are measurable
Mhm.
and they're attainable, they are for realistic, and they're time bound. And as soon as I could figure out what I'm going to do in those different areas, I started to see some incredible progress.
That's
being
smart.
Made. That's what about a workout buddy? You train by yourself.
I do. I've done the gym, the commercial gym thing as well, but I really do enjoy working out on my own at home, in the basement. And I know not everybody has the luxury of having a home gym, but I do enjoy it. And so, unlike having a workout buddy, I have accountability friends. I'll send them pictures and posts or videos or just updates of my progress and or lack thereof. Both, not just good. Both needs to be done.
Right.
Whether you missed the gym or you've missed a few days in a row, the accountability is important.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I found joining some groups, some Facebook groups, that really helped, because you're meeting virtual guys that are training, that are working out, that are very serious in competitions, but also that have a dad bod, and they're just trying to to get through life, and because life's got a way on them.
Yeah.
And so that's been really helpful for me.
And we're all at different levels. We're all at different stages.
Oh my God, different ages.
To have an accountability group or to have an accountability friend is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to check in on them.
Just to check in. Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's key. So Jay, let's move on to nutrition.
Okay.
And try to figure out how to get this balance in your life when it comes to nutrition. We've covered pretty good when it comes to fitness. Now, for me, I need help in this area because I'm not a nutritionist at all. So I know that my TREE, which is my total daily energy expenditure number, and I went online and I just Googled, TREE calculator, and up came the form, and I just put in my height, my weight, and how active I am, and what kind of activities I do,
right,
and what my goals are, and it came out this 2,200 calories I need to eat to maintain my weight.
Right.
And I also know that if I eat over that amount, I'm going to gain weight.
Right.
If I eat under that amount, I lose weight.
Right.
And if I eat at that amount, I maintain my weight.
Right.
So that sounds pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
But then it also gives me this BMR, this basal metabolic rate, and it said it was 1,600 or 1,645 calories. So help me understand what that number means.
So again, I'm not a nutritionist either, but what I do believe it's the things that our body does without knowing, like your heart beating, your lungs breathing, all of those things that we do without being aware of it. Yeah, so that takes energy to do.
So that makes sense. So that's my score, that I need to eat that amount for that to take place.
Right.
But understanding the protein, understanding the carbs, understanding the healthy fats has been a big eye opener for me.
Right.
Reading the labels.
Yeah,
and
it's a big one.
At my age, the font's getting smaller. So so playing around with that, as soon as I figured out the balance that I put on my plate and what I put in my stomach,
Hmm.
then that seems to help me, grow in a way that will help make me healthy.
Sure,
That's
and
it.
it's just you're putting the recommended fuel that your body needs.
Right.
Everybody has quote unquote their number.
Right.
So you're putting your number
Right.
in your body successfully every day,
Okay.
and at the end of the day, your body says thank you, and it does
Okay.
what it does with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you undereat that number,
Right.
makes sense that you would lose weight or the reverse.
Right.
We all have a healthy number that we live within. It is exactly that, finding that balance as to where your number is, and we all have different lifestyles as well. Some of us have active jobs, some of us have static jobs, and those numbers will vary within that
Right.
as well. So it's finding a balance of what you do. So if you have a static job all day for 8 hours,
Right.
you're not going to be burning
No.
what somebody who has an active job
Right.
will burn, right? So to put that number into perspective, you're not going to need that.
Right.
That output just isn't the same as somebody who does have an
Right.
active job. So the numbers are going to vary as well. This is a really tricky one for most people because it includes your lifestyle as well, right?
Makes sense.
And what your lifestyle, what your daily lifestyle looks like. So this is nutrition is a really, really tricky one for most people. Yeah.
And I find too, I mean, after a holiday or
Mhm.
after a vacation, you're, I ate more than my number.
Uh-huh.
And so I come home and the pants are too tight and I'm feeling sluggish and I eat under that number and then I lose the weight.
Right.
But it's finding that balance with what to eat at a meal.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
my parents are incredible cookers. My wife is an incredible baker,
Mhm.
and I certainly will not insult them by
Right.
not eating or not testing
Right.
their food. But I'm also aware that I need to, be okay the next day or the day before when I'm coming up to a big meal that next day.
Yeah, it all comes into planning and prepping, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys are diligent with that. A lot of guys that are in the gym, they use, on a Sunday, they'll spend majority of the afternoon pre-planning for the week,
Yeah.
and they'll put it into containers and they'll break it all down into
Well, I see
different
them. I see them
containers.
post there, and it looks like they're eating the same thing for an entire week.
A lot of the times they are. Yeah, a lot of the times they are, and it just depends on their favorites. So, for me as well, if you live with me or work with me long enough, you know that it's Tuesday. Jay's having X, Y, and Z.
Are you
So,
serious?
I'm totally serious, and you know what? I enjoy it, and it works for me, and I love it. So it's not uncommon to see my lunch post. It's the broccoli salad, the honey mustard broccoli salad that I love to make. Or on a Wednesday, I'm having egg and tuna with a broccoli side or whatever that might be.
Right.
So it's just a matter of what works for you, what you like, what you consistently enjoy to eat.
Okay.
Find it and love it.
Okay.
Yeah, find it and eat it.
Now you have an interesting practice that you have with fasting. So
Right.
talk to me about that. So I can understand, because there's so many different definitions or so many different procedures that people follow when it comes to fasting.
Yeah. So the fasting that I do is just 16 hours. It's really just it's quite easy for me to do because some of it I'm sleeping through. So some of the hours that I'm fasting, I'm not even awake for. So it does get pretty easy. So you're right, there are different lengths of fasting. So some guys do a 24-hour fast. Some guys do 48 or 72-hour fast. I don't. My last meal of the day is 6 p.m. and I don't eat anything in the evening after 6. And my first meal I don't eat anything before 11. I start prepping at 11. I start cooking at 11, but it's usually closer to 12 when I actually put something in.
Okay.
And then it comes down to, what are you putting in? Yeah. What's going in first? Your healthy fats, your fiber, like it's the order that you're putting them into, right? So nutrition can be quite tricky for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And preparing food for kids for their lunches too. I cannot believe that we sent our kids to school with a thermos full of ravioli.
The old zoodles.
Oh my gosh.
Or Lunchables.
Oh, I know.
Just because it was quick, it was convenient, and it's there. It's just here you go, off you run.
Yeah. If you can't pronounce the words that are in the ingredients,
yeah,
that tells you something.
that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or if the ingredients are full of just numbers,
Yeah.
yellow this, red that, blue this, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a sign. Just put it back.
Yeah.
Just put it back on the
Yeah.
shelf.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some don't have that luxury,
Right.
and or the knowledge.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and yeah, it's just a matter of educating yourself. And again, it goes back to what we were talking about in fitness about finding a group
Yes.
or finding an
Yeah.
app or
Yeah.
finding an accountability person
You're
and
right.
just sharing the knowledge of what it takes to put something on a plate that's healthy, sustainable,
Yeah.
and will lead to longevity.
So going back to your fasting, one quick question about first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
You have a black coffee or what?
I do not drink coffee black.
Okay.
I cannot. My
Okay.
wife has tried to talk me into it for many
So
years.
okay. So what do you put in your body that still allows you to fast, but like what liquid?
So I'll use a coffee cream, high
Okay.
coffee cream,
Okay.
which doesn't break my fast.
Okay.
And I have coffee in the morning and
Okay.
then water. I don't have anything food wise until
Okay.
noon.
Yeah. No, we also accept the fact that we're not professionals when it comes to being a nutritionist either. So we've
Right.
got listeners who are tuning in,
Yeah.
who have degrees in nutrition and could write, done thesis about what we're skimming over right now, and we admit that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So,
I don't pretend to be a nutritionist at all.
no.
I just know what works for me.
Yeah.
I just know how I feel every day. I have done short periods where I've consciously added in breakfast.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to see how it feels. I'll take a month and just add breakfast in.
Yeah.
I feel slower, sluggish,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Yeah.
So you have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
Some people have to have breakfast. Some people
Yes.
being, whether it's diabetic or
absolutely.
whatever, they
need
have
that.
to, their blood sugars require them to eat small meals throughout the day. So fasting may not be an option for them. So I get it. So it's all personal.
Yeah.
What works for you? Find that and run with it.
Yeah. And basically, your diet is your bank account.
100%.
In the sense that, you eat good food choices, it's good investment.
Absolutely. It's
That's
like
there.
having a sports car. You fill it with premium gas, you're gonna get a premium ride.
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely.
I found an interesting study that in 2023 from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that talked about proper nutrition just helps maintain that consistent energy level that prevents energy dips and crashes associated with blood sugar levels.
Mhm.
And if you balance it out, then you're going to have your daily responsibilities managed, and you're going to manage your stress, and you're going to achieve that balance
without any crashes.
Okay, Jay, we can't have balance in our lives if we haven't addressed mental health.
For sure.
This is a topic that's a hot topic, a lot for guys, especially. And for me, I know traditionally masculinity talks about, tough it out, hide your emotions. And personally, as soon as I do that, I start to spiral and start doing things that I regret. So a topic, and that's why the symbol yin and yang is so powerful to me. That's why I have it on a tattoo,
right,
on my arm, because the constant reminder of finding light in the darkness, constant reminder of balancing the feminine with the masculine, that constant balance of finding just that balance with life that I need to look at. And I certainly know that if I'm stressed at work and I'm stressed in my relationships and I'm stressed over finance and I'm stressed over family responsibilities, then I start to make poor choices. And I've made some poor choices in the past, and I've hurt some individuals, and that's a whole topic for another episode, believe me. And I'll get into that. I'm sure I will. But your mental health is so key, and it reminds me of the quote. Mental health is not a destination, but it's a process, and it's about how you drive. It's not about where you're going. So I know for you alluded to a little bit about your mental health and your self-sabotage in the gym. We talked about balance in the fitness area.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the mental health component of that.
So that's one aspect of the self-sabotage when it comes to mental health is the fitness area, or let's say arena. If you break it on down. So that was one aspect of the self-sabotage stuff. The behavior was another aspect of it. So yes, there was the gym portion of it, but it was my outward behavior towards my family, towards my friends, dealing with stuff inside and not dealing with stuff inside led to poor behavior, led to poor um, self-talk, inside and out, led to feeling like I needed to shut in words and that nobody was going to understand what I was going through. The negative chatter in my head was just constant. It just never stopped. And feeling like there was nobody else who would understand what that was like is wrong. And there are those that may not fully get what that's like, what the negative talk is like, but they're experiencing it in your behavior. It's leaking out somehow,
Right.
some way in your behaviors. So whether you know it or not, it's coming out.
So how did you turn off the self-sabotage, self-talk?
Through a lot of therapy, through a lot of
Okay.
work,
Okay.
through the willingness to do the therapy, through the willingness to walk through the muddy waters, as you know, quote unquote, and or have those hard conversations with myself and others. But it all comes back to therapy, seeking a therapist,
Okay. So
seeking somebody
so
professional.
give me a concrete strategy.
Hmm.
You refer to therapy, and I get that, but give me a concrete strategy that would allow you to stop and stop the self-sabotage
So
talk.
for me, the daily affirmations are important for me.
Okay.
And they're one of the things that I use as a tool to help me stop
Right.
those negative behaviors, those negative chatters. Um, is the daily affirmations. Feeling like you're not good enough or feeling like you're unworthy of love are things that, you know, that are very real. And
Yeah.
and a lot of guys face those. A lot of people face those negative chatters, those negative self stuff, of feeling like you're not worthy of love, you're not good enough, you're not seen nor heard,
Right.
and that leads to the negative talk. And then when things happen in your life negatively, you're like, see, told you,
Yeah.
told you, you're not, you know. And then so then that negative
Yeah.
chatter starts, and it's really hard to stop that. So being willing to talk about those things with a therapist and breaking down why you feel that way, why you talk that way, why you talk to yourself that way, is the first steps to healing.
Right.
And so for me, daily affirmation is important. When I miss a couple of days of that, it creeps back in.
Really.
So it's a constant work.
Yeah.
Same thing with behavior. It's a constant work. Conversations, it's easy to fall back into patterns. It's easy to fall back into beliefs. It's easy to fall back into the same kind of rhythm when you're not putting yourself in check. And sometimes it's harder than others when you're in conversations.
Right.
Yeah. So just
So
constant
daily
work.
affirmations are key. For me, it's journaling.
Mm.
That helps me keep things in check.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm journaling, I am writing down how I'm feeling. Yes, things that have happened, but my reaction to some choices that I've made,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really helped. Getting it down on paper
Yeah.
has been extremely, extremely helpful. And also connecting with other people
Mm-hmm.
is key. And it was interesting, a study that I came across in the National Institute of Mental Health in 2021 talked about that men often struggle forming close emotional bonds.
Mhm.
If they have a strong network, they have better mental health outcomes and less lonely, depressed, and stressed.
Mm.
And we have found that.
Yeah.
We've been working together, 15 years now?
Yeah. I was really trying to figure that out.
In a mentoring relationship, and it became very reciprocal, back
Mhm.
and forth. And I think if guys could form a social network of platonic relationships with like-minded guys,
Mhm.
they've got a support system. They can talk it out,
Yeah.
and ask questions,
Yeah.
and get those questions answered, and have a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah.
Have and crying's okay.
Yeah.
If you need to. And
Hallelujah, Brian. Yes, crying's okay. Yeah.
And if I can say, Jay, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Help
Having
me
a tough
through
time.
this.
Yeah.
Help me through this.
Yeah. It's okay to do that. And it's important to have someone in your life or someone's in your life to be able to say, yeah, I'm really struggling with this.
Yeah.
I'm really having a hard time. And having the confidence that they're going to listen.
Yeah.
and not judge, and
Yeah.
you can just, and then it becomes the walk it off
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore. Tough it up,
Yeah.
man up.
Yeah,
Those
I
things
know,
don't
I
exist
know.
anymore when you have people in your life that you can say, "Hey, man, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Any
And it's
chance?
okay.
Any chance you
I
can have a
need to
coffee?"
work me through this.
Yeah.
And I know that you're really good at sending me some quotes
Mm,
through a text message.
Right.
I wake up in the morning and the phone message is there, and I've the quote. Now, the one that you sent me the other day, what was it again?
I think it was the and it has to do with this episode of balancing as well. So what you're not changing, you're choosing.
Yeah, perfect.
And it goes that kind of, you can say it another way too. What you're promoting, you're permitting.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
But there's a couple of different ones that I love that have to do with, so every lid has a pot. And there's another one up here that I really love. Everyone deserves to eat, but not everyone deserves to eat at your table.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a healthy balance.
Yeah.
And that comes with knowing yourself and creating boundaries
Yeah.
and who you are and what you're willing to permit and promote and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And
all that stuff.
We become the company we keep.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with doing a digital hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got all kinds of followers on your Instagram or Facebook, and if they're not adding value, then get rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Same with you in your own personal life as well. If you have someone in your life that every time you set boundaries to, they are the ones getting upset from the boundaries that you have set. Well, that's explaining a lot just in you setting a healthy boundary for yourself. Yeah, it's necessary. Boundaries are necessary for everyone in every relationship.
And any other advice for our listeners here when it comes to mental health and balance?
I'd say don't shy away from the fact that you're having struggles. Don't shy away from the fact that you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And when that gets enough, seek help.
Yeah.
Yeah, look for a counselor, look for a therapist.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. And then we need to learn that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, just practice those stress reducing techniques, whether that's yoga, or whether that's journaling, whether it's getting out in nature.
Yeah, whatever that may look like for you.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
What works for me won't work for you, and what works for you may not work for me.
Correct. And honestly, at the end of the day, what works for you will only benefit you. Okay, so moving on to the relationship segment of this episode. When it comes to balance, what does that look like for you in your relationships?
This is an area, Jay, that I'm not a level 4. I'm not an A+, an A student, or an A-. It's something that I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. If I look over my entire life right now, I loved my career.
Mm-hmm.
I gave 110% to every single job. By 32 years in education, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
However, loving it, I sacrificed some home responsibilities.
Oh, tell me about that.
And so I have 2 daughters, and I remember missing practices, missing rehearsals, missing concerts, missing some interviews, because I was at my schools. I was at my responsibility in my career, and I was loving what I was doing. And looking back, I was not in balance. And neglected my personal relationship with my wife, and working through that, and it's tough. Trying to find where that balance is, and I can't turn back the clock. All I can do is focus on where I am, and where I'm going forward in the relationships with my spouse and with my daughters and my granddaughter and my friends. So I think it's unfortunately, I need to relook at what's important to me, and my family and my spouse should be and are the most important part of who I am.
And so what's the work you're doing for that, or what led you to that conclusion that like, ooh, I missed out on a lot of stuff here. How do I start to heal from that? How do I mend those bridges?
And I think it's going back and redefining what that relationship needs to look like,
Mm,
and putting my energy into making those relationships and having those date nights and making sure that I they get on the calendar and that it happens.
mm. To prioritizing.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah. So when you talk about being absent for one rehearsal, as far as being a father, being a family man, being a husband, and somebody on that side of things, you were then present, obviously, as far as your own school, your own work, and your work speaks for itself. Your reputation speaks for itself. So you were doing something right in that realm. However, the father side of thing, the husband side of things, um, didn't have a
It
balance as far as
no,
you're concerned.
no, it didn't.
Mm.
It didn't, and I regret that.
Yeah, that's tough. And honestly, not everybody is able to say they love their job as much as I know you loved yours.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
and I
hard as
think that
well.
was when I retired, I went through a whole identity crisis. And I know
Hmm.
we're going to get into that on another episode.
Yeah.
And that's why I started the bucket list
Hmm.
adventures
Hmm.
because of this identity crisis. I didn't know who I was anymore. I wasn't
Right.
Brian Jones, the educator. I wasn't Brian Jones, the teacher, the facilitator, the consultant, the vice principal, the principal, the leadership. I was no longer any of those people.
Yeah.
Um, but I was still the dad. I was still the husband, and I was still the friend. Um, but I had to figure that out.
Mm. Because there was no balance
There was
between those.
absolutely
Yeah. So
no balance at all.
once that hat came off, DDSB Brian
Yeah, yeah,
came off.
yeah,
Now what?
exactly.
So I think there's a lot of us can relate to that. That I like you say that identity. Uh, I have DDSBJ. I have
Yeah,
my own identity
yeah,
that
yeah,
I can relate to, and I have struggled with
yeah.
over the years. And I have my own issues with that and how those played out. And so I think it's very relatable for me as well to hear you say once that DDSB hat was taken off, now what? Because I've gone through that on my own as well, and I'm sure some of the listeners can relate to that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what about you when
Mhm.
it comes to your connection with relationships? How do you maintain that balance? How do you find balance?
That's hard. I'm still working on that in my own life. As far as balance in friendships, I cherish my friendships. I really do, and I don't waste time in saying so. And I have no problems saying to my friends, "I love you, man." Like I have no problems reaching out and saying that because I do, and they know it. Um, and I really cherish them. And there's times where I have pushed said friends back and removed that and stepped back from that friendship when we deal with self-sabotaging stuff and those issues like we've already been talking about. And those are things that I find hard that I wish I never did, that they were constantly reaching out to me, wanting to hang out and and I just wouldn't. I wouldn't make excuses to not hang out because, you know, you're
And,
on.
and that's exactly what the research is saying
Man.
from the study at Harvard in 2021. It says the impact on friendships on men's well being is powerful. Men who nurture social networks live longer, have fewer mental health issues, and have fewer physical problems.
Yeah.
Is building that network.
Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, and that is through this whole episode. That rings a bell from fitness, having an accountability partner, having a workout buddy, to nutrition, having someone to knock back and forth recipes with, and now relationships. So it all rings
Yeah.
true.
But why is it so hard for
Oh,
guys to make connections?
honestly, I don't know. We're so guarded. We are so as men. We are so guarded. It's wild because you see women. They're so open with each other, and they tell each other everything, and they have their group that they knock around with. That they all go to the bathroom together and they talk together and they chat together. I don't know what it's like on a full scale because I can't relate to that. I'm not allowed in those restrooms, but honestly, I see it and I'm kind of envious that they can do that. And then there's the other side of the things where they can be really catty with each other but they're still open about it. We're guys, we're not. We're just so closed off with our emotions, and even if we're upset with each other, it either leads to a punch in the face or a complete cutoff.
Right. Yeah.
And why we are like that, I'm not really sure.
Well, hopefully that's one of the goals of this podcast.
Absolutely,
is for guys to realize they're not alone, and to open up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes back to, like we were saying, the whole concept of walk it off, kid. Like, so you're not able to just say, yeah, but I'm upset about this. Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to say that. You walk it off.
Right.
Yeah. So, and again, that implies walk it off means do that alone.
Right.
Go on, walk that off.
Yeah.
Go do that alone. Go be upset somewhere else.
Yeah.
Is really what it means. Right. And it's a shame.
Advice for our listeners when it comes to relationships, on lessons learned from you.
Goodness.
I know what you're
I'm still working on it.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm still working on it. I really am. And I get it wrong all the time. I really do. But learn how to listen. For goodness sake, learn how to listen. I struggle with that so much. I hear you, but I'm not listening. Or I'm listening, but I don't hear you. Yeah. So learn how to listen. Learn that it's okay to make mistakes. It is. And learn to own it. Have some accountability. If you say the wrong thing, it's okay to say, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. That wasn't necessary." Yeah. Learn
and own it.
Learn it and own it. Yeah. And I struggle with that, and I'm really working on that. And I still get it wrong. I really do. Every day, I still get it wrong. And I still need to learn how to listen. And a large part of a relationship is learning that balance between listening and talking. And a large part of that is learning. Whether it's your spouse or your kids, sometimes they're not looking for advice. They're looking for a listener, and they're looking for somebody to just hear them, and without speaking.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes.
And I got to learn that's. I got to learn that.
You have to know when to bite the tongue.
Yep.
And when to say what you need to say.
Yeah. And learning how to listen has been a real struggle for me. Yeah. It's been constant work.
Jay, our last pillar has to do with lifelong learning, lessons learned when it comes to balance.
Yes.
So I know for me, I know the power of journaling. I've been journaling for 48 years.
48?
Yeah, I'm old. No, I started when I was 18. My grandfather encouraged me to keep a journal. And I said, Grandpa, I'm 18. I'm not keeping a diary. And he says, yeah. When I was out west, during the war, I kept a journal and a diary, and it's pretty powerful to go back and reflect on where you have been and where you are and where you're going. So I started, and now I'm obsessed with it. Really, every year under the Christmas tree, there'll be an empty journal for me to fill for that year. So yeah, I journal. So that journaling has helped me with tracking physical fitness. Experiences I've had, thoughts that I've had, questions I'm curious about, affirmations I need to think about, inspirational quotes that I connect with. So all of those things have helped me with journaling and finding balance. I have a long ways to go, but I'm certainly a lot further along on this journey than I was before when it comes
that's
to that.
Impressive.
So
that's impressive. 48 years of consistent journaling. That's impressive. I, however, I begrudgingly started my journeying process when I started therapy. The therapist said, you're going to have to journal. And I was like, no. I'm not in for that. And so begrudgingly, I started journaling. And I don't do it as often as I should. A lot of the times on my phone, I add notes to my notes but I got a great app. It's called the journaling app. It's on my phone, and it prompts me throughout the day. So it's kind of easy for me when it comes to that. So it'll prompt me throughout the day, and it'll say, what are we feeling? Where are we at? Blah, blah, blah. Just whatever. It's just something I installed when I was installing the app. I chose those options.
Mhm.
And so throughout the day, and then at 8 o'clock at night, it comes up and it says time to journal, like sum up the day,
Right.
day summary. Right?
So is there anything through that journaling that was a big aha for you when it comes to understanding lifelong lessons when it comes to balance?
Absolutely. Great question. Absolutely. Because that gave me a chance when it was written down, it gave me a chance to look and physically see it, not just think to myself, did I have a good day or a bad day, or what was I feeling in that, today or yesterday or 2 days ago. It gave me a real concrete look at what I did that day and how I was feeling or where I was sitting inside of emotions or what I was dealing with mentally. And rather than just having some guesswork, about like, oh, I was fine yesterday. Yeah, because I said that far too long. I was the king of I'm fine. And that became a really negative trait that I just would instinctually fall back on. No, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Everything's fine. So if you have somebody in your life that's constantly saying, I'm fine, they're not fine.
Yeah.
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 Put that in check. They're not fine.
Right.
I can say that from I can say that from tried, tested, and true. You're not fine.
Yeah.
So it gave me a good idea as to where my day went and how it flowed and where, things I was dealing with. And then there were issues that arose out of that journaling that I was able to talk about through therapy or talk about through friendships or talk about in my relationships with my family that I was able to work through therapy, through my journal. Yeah.
I used to think that balance had to do with time management. But really, it has to do with energy management.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can give 110% to whatever you're working on at any given time, you're going to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're with your spouse or your partner, if you're giving that your full attention and you're taking your advice of listening attentively and or working with your kids or your grandkids or your buddy or at work, whatever you're focused on, that's where your energy needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll be more successful.
Yeah, and funny that you say that time management is not learning how to be productive.
Yeah.
Inside of you, that energy. Yeah, no, that's great. I like that.
Yeah. And I think that there's this quote that I came across that the key to keeping your balance is knowing when you've lost it.
Can you read that again for me?
Sure. The key to keeping your balance is knowing when you've lost it.
Oh, wow.
So if you can think back and I mean, take yourself, a thought is just a thought. So if you take yourself out of context and be a fly on the wall and look down on the situation and say, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I need to do next. This is where I've been. You're going to be more successful.
Yeah. And for myself, that's great. That's pretty powerful, actually. I'm going to try and put that into play. For myself, I know that sometimes the energy that I put out is not what I'm feeling inside. And I have a difficult time making the two relate. So sometimes I will project a certain energy that's aggressive or whatever. But that's not how I'm feeling inside. Inside, I'm struggling to put an emotion on it. So there's still work to be done.
And that gets back to your intent does not match your impact on other people. And we judge ourselves on our intentions, but other people judge us on our impact that we've had on them.
Of course. Yeah.
So if we can align that intention with impact, we're going to be successful in our relationships and in our own well-being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is key.
And I feel like that couldn't be more true. Yeah. That alignment needs to be made and recognized when it needs to be made.
There's an interesting study in 2023 from the National Institute on Aging that says the key finding was lifelong learning keeps the brain active, which is critical for maintaining the cognitive balance and the mental health as we age. So if we can think about that and realize that if we can keep active and reflecting on where we've been, where we are, and where we're going, then our mental health is going to be in a better spot.
It's all it's this journey that we're
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And I know we keep using that word journey
It is.
because it is like
Yeah.
you just summed up the past, the present, and like
Yeah.
it's really a work in progress.
Yeah. So just to wrap up, any final advice for our listeners when it comes to life lessons learned, reflecting on the past and the present and where we are and where we're going?
Honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me-
for
tell
me,
me
that
about
just that's the one thing that jumps in my head right now. That's just honesty. Being honest with where you're at, being honest with how you're behaving, being honest with what you're capable of, and then working towards either changing those behaviors and or improving where you are with the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
And if that means attaching yourself to a group, attaching yourself to a therapist, attaching yourself to friends, then that's what that looks like for you. But being honest with yourself to know that I have work to do and there's other people that can help me do that,
Right.
whether it's professional or friends or loved ones. Being honest with yourself when it comes to
Yeah.
that, I feel like that's what screams it for me.
Good.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I would say staying curious,
Hmm.
coming from a curious mindset. Because when you're curious, you're open to different perspectives. You're asking yourself, "I wonder why? Why did that happen?" Instead of making a judgment call. People are very quick to respond or react to something and not respond. But if they come from curiosity, and when you're asking a question, come from curiosity. It's not meant to be an interrogation question. And I know that from experience that when you make a statement, that can trigger the amygdala of the brain, and we can fight, flight in our brain. But when we come from curious, that activates the frontal neocortex, and when we're a better critical thinker, and we can think about that. So I would say my best advice was just stay curious. Be curious about absolutely everything.
Yeah, that's great advice. Honestly, it really is. And most importantly, too, don't feel alone. Don't feel alone because you're not alone in this journey. You're not alone at all. And that's one of the biggest struggles that we have is feeling alone. Like nobody's got you. Nobody understands.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that wraps up today's episode of Coffee and Conversations for Men. A big thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. We really appreciate you spending time with us.
Be sure to check out the show's notes for links, resources, and everything we've discussed today. Be on the lookout for new episodes where Jay and Brian continue to share their stories, dive deep into topics that matter most, and keep the conversation going.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll always be first to know when new episodes drop. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, share it with a friend or leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Now, if there's a topic you'd like us to explore, reach out and let us know.
This is Jay and Brian reminding you to grab your coffee
Or your favorite beverage.
and keep the conversation going. Until next time,
Stay strong
stay curious.
and stay connected.